Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. How are you? I hope you okay. Let's introduce myself. My name is Selma Zahra. My student ID number is 210291881. I'm from Mathematics Education A. Okay, I will try to explain the topic about data essays or three-step process. Step 1. Analysis the task and data. Read the task 1 introduction and look at the chart, graph or table with it for about 1 minute. Make sure that you understand the following. Step 1A. Is this static data or movement data? What are the timescales? The different static data shows only one timescale, whereas movement data shows a number of different timescales. For example, a static data chart might show the population of 5 different cities in 2002, and you need to compare the numbers. The movement data chart will show 5 cities in 2002 and 2012, and you will need to compare the changing situation from one time scale to another. Example chart 1 below is an example of static data. Example chart 2 below is an example of movement data. It's important to clarify this distinction because the way you write about the data will be different. In a static chart, you will compare the size and proportions of images. In a movement chart, you will also compare the change in number over time. Note that in task 1 data, the information can be a statistic or all motion or sometimes of a combination of both. This book provides you with many examples for describing static data and motion data. The next point to ensure in step 1 of our process are. Step 1B. What do the axes show? What units are shown? This is a movement chart because the time scale shows 7 different days. No year, 8, 2012, etc. is shown, so you must use the present simple to illustrate the data. The axis is day of week and 5 separate countries. The numbers shown are megawatts of electricity, but not in thousands or millions. Note that information about timescales, axes, and times may be located on the chart itself, or it may be in a description and or contained in a task description. Check everywhere. Don't be distracted by the fact that some texts have a bar chart format, while others have a line graph, pie chart, or table. The way data is presented can be in any of those formats, and you will need to practice analyzing data from all formats. This book contains examples of all possible presentations, but remember, no method for bar graph or method for line graph, etc. are relevant to IELTS. You should approach the data the same way using our 3-step process. In the test, you have now completed step 1 and you are confident about these important points. You can now go to step 2 of our process. Step 2A. Group the data. The means deciding which data sets are similar to each other. For example, look back at the sample graph 3 and ask yourself which country has a similar pattern of electricity use. Are there very different countries? The answer is that we can group France and Japan because the pattern is similar. The electricity numbers fluctuate throughout the week. We can also group Canada and Russia as they share a similar pattern. The electricity numbers increase rapidly toward the weekend. Argentina is different from these two groups as this lines towards the weekend. Step 2b. Identify trends and exceptions. When you have decided on a data group, identify the trend and exception the data group displays. Trend means a pattern that is common or shared by a group. An exception is a group or element that behaves differently from the trend. Step 2c. Select the main features using images. Remember the text 1 introduction always says summary information. Select and describe key features and make comparisons where relevant. Key feature in a segment data mean key numbers that represent the group, trend, and exception you have identified. It's not possible and completely unnecessary to select more than a few numbers to use in your assignment 1 essay. Step 3. Write an essay. You should spend a maximum of about 5 minutes on step 1 and 2 in our process. At this stage, you have about 15 minutes left for the task 1. So you should work quickly now. At this stage, you should have lots of notes made with your red pen on the test paper itself. We advise you not to plan for task 1 essay, as this will take too long, and you should have enough notes for now. Using notes, you can start writing an essay and finish it in about 10 to 12 minutes. Step 3a. Write introductory sentence. For your introduction, examiners want to see one clear sentence that shows that you have analyzed and understood the data, timescale, and times involved. To do this, take the explanatory part of the segment introduction and prepare it in your words. Step 3b. Step 3b. Write the main paragraph. Describe the trend of that the group, give the selected number, compare the group, and explain the exception. You will get value by having a very clearly structured essay. To achieve this, you must explain a chart, table, or graph in turn, explaining a trend or exception you have seen between datasets. You should describe the trend about the beginning of each group and then provide the numbers you choose to illustrate. Step 3c. Write a summary sentence and check your work. After about 15 minutes in the test, you should finish your main paragraph and start writing a summary. This is usually one sentence, maximum 3 sentences. If there are multiple charts or group in a segment, the summary in a segment 1 essay is very different from the conclusion in the segment 2 essay. Instead, you should summarize the main trends and major exceptions that you have described in the main section. To summarize our 3-step process. Step 1a. analysis, task, and data. Is this static data or movement data? What is the time scale? Step 1b. What do the two axes indicate? What units are displayed? Step 2a. Group the data. Step 2b. Identify trend and exception. Step 2c. Select the main features using image. Remember, use your red pen and write on the test paper to help you with step 1 and 2. Step 3a. Write an introductory sentence. Step 3b. Write the main paragraph. Describe the trend of the group. Give the selected number. Compare the group and explain the exception. Step 3c. Write a summary sentence and check your work. The next section of the book contains 12 assignments, each with a band 9 model essay and examiner comments to explain why it worked. As you read through the section, try to look at assignment and data first, and follow our 3-step process so you can put it into practice. In particular, try analyzing tasks, segmenting data, spotting trends and exceptions, and selecting key figures. Then read the model essay and examiner comments to see how the candidate has implemented the process and why it has worked so well. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.